Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 5 of the Commanders franchise here. And we saw last episode, in episode number 4, we did get a win. Last second touchdown heave from Sam Howell to Cam Sims. If you haven't seen it, go back to episode number 4. It was an outstanding game show put on by Sam Howell. But today is the end of the preseason. It's the end of the preseason. We are going to be going into readjusting, cutting people, readjusting our roster, and you're going to see who's going to get the starting bid. I said last episode, I'm thinking Sam Howell, and my thinking has not changed. But looking at the stats from the preseason, Howell outplayed Wentz, definitely. Wentz in just as many games, 57%. Howell, 76%. Antonio Gibson, of course, is going to be starting running back. Howell won the starting job this preseason as a rookie over the veteran Carson Wentz, so Wentz will be number 2. But the key for here is I don't want to burn Sam Howell's development here. That's something I just don't feel comfortable with. So I'm going to start him through the first couple of weeks of the season. Probably about week 4, I'll make my decision if we're going to run with Howell the rest of the season or put Wentz back in and let Howell develop behind him, because I think Sam has the potential. I don't know what he's going to look like going into the start of the season. If he has some bad games to start the season, that's why I'm giving him 4 or 5 weeks. I definitely want to do it before our bye week. If we have an early bye week, that would help me out. If it's a later bye week, I want to do it definitely before that trade deadline, because if Carson Wentz does end up taking back that role, that lets me know in the offseason where we need to go as far as our first pick in round 1 if we retain our first round pick this year. Overall, receiving wise, you saw that. Defensively, Cole Holcomb had a great preseason. Derek Forrest did, the backup safety did. Benjamin St. Juste did have a pick 6. Darren Payne, Percy Butler, Jamin Davis, young defense. Had an outstanding defense. Had an outstanding preseason. I can't speak enough about these guys. Cole Holcomb finished with 4 TFLs. Deron Payne with 3. Chase Young even had 2. And Deron Payne also finishes with 3 sacks. He was the team leader by far. Old man Mikael Kendricks had 1. Casey Tuhill, a young left end, he had 1. Jameer Jones, he played well as well. Kicking wise, Joey Sly, he definitely won it. I did not put Brian Johnson in except for at the tail end of that Ravens game, and we didn't kick it once. So now we're getting to the cut phase. Like I said, Howell will be number 1, as you see here. Carson Wentz is our backup. So Taylor Heineke, because he's 29, because I don't see the development in him at the end with a 69, we're going to go ahead and cut him. He's not going to be on the active roster for week 1. We're down to 2 quarterbacks. We are going to be, when we do practice squad, I'll bring in a young quarterback to kind of develop and have him there, sitting there. Running backs, on the other hand, though, Jared Patterson didn't get any run, neither did Reggie Bonifay, but we can't put Bonifay on the practice squad, so he's going to get cut. And then Jared Patterson, he's 67 overall running back. I think we can see development out of him like in the next couple of seasons in the series. So I'm going to leave him there on the practice squad this year. Possibly next year we'll see him move up. Jonathan Williams will also stay there for just a minute until we decide what we're going to do for the rest of the team. Receiver-wise, Jahan Dotson, he's not going nowhere. He had a pretty good preseason. De'Ami Brown is one that he had that great catch at the end of that Ravens game. I just cannot see us cutting him yet. He's young. He's 22. We're going to move Antonio Gandy Golden to the practice squad, though. They want to see his development. Dax Millen, another guy. He came in, I think, in preseason week 1. Had a couple of good catches. We did move him up in the depth chart, but he didn't see any playing time on the field after that. So he's going to go to practice squad. But Kelvin Harmon is another guy. We didn't play him. We did not play him. I just don't see the development. Cam Sims is going to be receiver number 2, as you see there. Curtis Samuel did get knocked down to 4 on the depth chart, and that's because that is only because Jahan Dotson is our slot receiver right now. So with that being said, we're going to see what we're going to do. You're going to see what we're going to do with Curtis Samuel later on in this episode. But Kelvin Harmon, unfortunately, will not make the opening day roster. With us, De'Ami Brown does have the star development. He will still progress, even if he's on our roster. but I just cannot see him. I cannot see us running with Kelvin Harmon at this time. Tight ends. Logan Thomas played well. John Bates played well. We brought in Hunter Bryant in week 1. He played well. So, with that being said, odd man out is going to be Cole Turner. Turner had a horrible preseason. He's 22. He's 65 overall. I think he just needs to go on the practice squad, and hopefully no one picks him up. But if they do, it is what it is. We can't stockpile that. Guard is my biggest question here. So Andrew Noel is older. Sadiq Charles did play well. But we are going to lose Shuel as well. Shuel will be cut today. He is older, and I want the development for our other young guard. Center-wise, Chase Roulier is our starter to go. Tyler Larson is older, 65. But Keith Ishmael, the rookie, young guy, 61 overall, I do think he has room for improvement. I do think with Chase Roulier still being our staple at center for the foreseeable future, Tyler Larson is going to have to be the odd man out here. Of course, I love Larson. Has had a great NFL career all the way up to this point, but it will not continue here in Washington. I hope another team does pick him up. He's a really solid player. Guard here, we got Trey Turner, Chris Paul, and Wes Schwister. Again, Schwister, another decision that is going to be tough. She's 28, but you got a young Chris Paul behind him. Not the basketball player Chris Paul. And then we got Shaq Calhoun, who just hasn't panned out. He's 26. He's 3'10". At right guard. He's not going to see the playing time, especially not with the rookie and Chris Paul that we brought in. Or not rookie, but young guy in Chris Paul we brought in. So Shaquille Calhoun is going to get cut. He's going to be one of the cuts we make. And then at guard, like I said, I think I'm going to run with Chris Paul, but I think we're going to move his position. But we'll take a look at that later on. Right tackle, we're not going to make any moves with Cosme, but Will Beavers is just not the guy. He had a horrible preseason. He's 28 years old. He's 54 overall. And I think this is where I'm going to end up moving Chris Paul. I'm going to move. If Paul has the stats to play tackle, I'm moving him to right tackle behind Cosme. They're both the same age. Cosme will most likely be the staple, and I think Paul at some point will either trade him away or will end up trying to develop him and make him maybe a left tackle. I think Paul can have a great career. I just think she's going to have to be in the right system. Shaka Toney, guy never really saw the field in the preseason, so we're going to end up moving him to the practice squad. He's young. If you're young, I'm not too keen to cut you like that, like releasing the free agency, but I will put you on the practice squad. Right ends, as you see here, Jameer Jones played well. He's going to get the second spot over James Smith-Williams, who we're not actually going to cut. We're going to cut Daniel Wise. Wise did not see the field at all this preseason, and there's no need to keep him here. And then Rodemy, he's eligible for practice squad. We can also cut him as well. He's 27. I just don't see at a 59 why we would put him on the practice squad for that reason. So we're going to cut him entirely at 59. He could possibly retire in the off season as well, because he's just not getting any run with us. And we may be a bad team, but we're not that bad where we need a 59 on that D-line. Fadarius Mathis played well. I also liked Justin Hamilton. So Tyler Clark, we're going to move you to the practice squad. We're going to run with 4 DTs to start the season. At left outside linebacker, we did move Cole Holcomb there earlier, causing David Mayo to be dropped after we signed Mikael Kendricks for 1 year. So David Mayo, we're going to release him as well. We're down to just 4 people left we need to cut. Middle linebacker, we've got enough there. We've got our 3. Not moving on from any middle linebackers. Right outside linebacker, again, we brought in David Ania. He played well. Corners, Kendall Fuller, William Jackson, Benjamin St. Juste. Those are guys. Danny Johnson is going to be a guy that's going to stay on the roster as well. Corn Elder had a horrible preseason. We also have Troy Apke at 27. Apke, longtime commander, Redskin. He's been here since then. I really had a tough time doing this. I don't really wanted to, but Christian Holmes has the upside. 24, 65 overall. He's normal dev, but he's young. Younger than Corn Elder, who's 3 years older. He had a bad preseason. Troy Apke again. We're only taking a penalty of $20,000 at the end of the season, so I definitely do you see Christian Holmes taking back over that spot as a bench? We do have 6 active. Still deciding if I want to, but Corn Elder really had a bad preseason. It's going to be another 20K penalty to us, but that's fine. We're down to our 5 corners. We got 2 more cuts to go through. Free safety, Bobby McCain, Percy Butler, Jamie Reeves. Reeves, odd man out here. Butler had a great preseason. But we're going to first put Brian Johnson on the practice squad. Again, another move that's risky. Putting him on the practice squad, 68 kickers are very valuable in this game. But Joey Sly just is the veteran here. And then we're also going to look at strong safety. So free safety will be the only position, which means we're going to be running with Jonathan Williams at running back. We're going to cut Jeremy Reeves. I don't think Reeves just did not have that good of a preseason, so we're going to cut him instead. We're going to reorder the depth chart. I'm going to move the guys we're going to have. So Sam Howell will be our starting quarterback. Going into week number 1, as you see the running backs here on the roster here. Fullback, nothing changed. Remember what I said about Cam Sims? Yeah. Sims is going to be wide receiver number 2. Jahan Dotson. Curtis Samuel is actually going to notch himself above Alex Erickson, even though I do believe Alex Erickson had a much better preseason than Samuel. But beggars can't be choosers right now. Curtis Samuel, we will get into his situation just momentarily toward the end of this video. Guard here, centers here are all good. Now, Chris Paul, he's a 63 overall right guard, right? We are going to end up making that change, moving him to right tackle behind Sam Cosmi. It makes sense. But let's look at his stats here. Comparable on the right side. Your pass blocking needs to be pretty good. It's right in line where Cosmi is now. And Cosmi's been in the league for 2 years. So I think that's going to be the move. Move Chris Paul to right tackle. See if he develops there very well. Jameer Jones, also, he ended the preseason at number 2. Behind Montez Sweat, he will start the season as number 2. Behind Montez Sweat. D-tackles, you knew who that was going to be. Holcomb got the nod at left as a linebacker. We switched him from right to left side of the defense, and he's played extremely well there. Pierre-Paul gets to start at right outside backer. David Anea is going to be there behind him. Corners, Fuller, Jackson, St. Juice, Danny Johnson, and Christian Holmes, the rookie, gets the nod. Didn't play a lick in preseason, but we have the confidence in his development that he will play well if called upon at all this season. But yeah, that's going to be kickers, punters, going to be the same. Third down back is going to be Antonio Gibson. Power back, they have Gibson doing it. We're going to actually put Brian Robinson is going to be our starting power back. I think Robinson does need the development as a rookie to see the field sometime. So Brian Robinson is going to get there. Jonathan Williams will be behind Antonio Gibson there. Slot receiver, Jahan Dotson, Alex Erickson is going to be there. Cam Sims can also play the slot as well. But we're going to actually move Curtis into behind Jahan Dotson because I think Curtis Samuel would also thrive in that slot role as well. Rush left end will be Chase Young to start the season. Rush right end will be Montez Sweat as well to start the season. Rushy tackle is going to be your two-headed monster, Allen and Deron Payne. Sub linebacker will be Cole Holcomb. And slot corner, St. Juice will get the start. But we're going to move Danny Johnson here as the number 2 option because Johnson played well in the slot in that game in week 2 against the Chiefs, which is when he was inserted because Corn Elder was getting smacked as our slot corner. So we ended up making that move early in the preseason. Like I said, Chris Paul will be moved to right tackle. That's his new position now. And then Wentz. This was a big move. Wentz, we're going to remove the captain's badge off of him because this is Sam Howell's team. Howell is going to take the reins. He's going to be our opening day starter at quarterback, and he's going to get the captain as a rookie. It's not always good to have a rookie as a captain, but I think Howell has played well enough, commanded his offense well enough to get that nod. Speaking of this, Curtis Samuel, he's not a captain, but we're going to add him to the trade block before the season even starts because with the emergence of Cam Sims, it's just time. But that's going to lead us up into week number 1 against Jacksonville, guys. Next episode will be the first game of our opening season as the Commanders. We'll go through some cutscenes and then get into the gameplay against Jacksonville, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next episode in episode number 6 as we get ready to face off with Jacksonville later.